The rank 1 Terran player facing off against the rank 1 Protoss. What I've got for you today is a best of 5 series of top level StarCraft 2, where in game number 1 we find ourselves on the map Stargazers. Now spotting here in the top right hand corner, playing with the yellow SCVs from South Korea, we have none other than Maru. And his opponent in the top left, well, would you look at that, playing with the pretty purple Protoss Probes. We are looking at herO's main Nexus. And herO, of course, is also from South Korea. I used to be able to announce Zest games like that, right? So Zest really like playing with the pink Protoss Probes. A little bit of alliteration at the beginning of a cast has never hurt anyone. It's been some time. Sadly, herO, or actually not sadly herO, sadly Zest is currently doing his mandatory military service over in Korea, so I don't think we're going to be seeing any of his games anytime soon. Maybe he'll return at some point in the future, but there's no denying that herO is really, sort of taken up that mantle, right, of the aggressive Protoss player, and herO has been exceptionally successful over, well, like the last year or so. I mean, he came back from the military, and it took him a little bit to get back into the groove of things. He was obviously very strong before he went to the military too, but yeah, herO definitely looking very good right now when it comes to playing with the Protoss pieces. On the other end, we have Maru. I mean, do I really need to introduce Maru any more than that? This guy has been dominating the Korean SC2 scene for years. He's been incredibly good for a very long time as well, and he doesn't really show any signs of slowing down, so I don't think he really requires any additional introduction. I do like, by the way, seeing these guys play with different colors. I mean, most StarCraft 2 tournaments, in case you're wondering, they have a rule that you have to play with, well, a certain set of colors, right? So most of the time, that's going to be red and blue. Red and blue, very easy to differentiate, but I kind of like seeing, purple and yellow in this particular match. I mean, I guess the reason for those rules is mostly just legibility, right? So say you have a Protoss versus Protoss is notorious for this. Say you have a Protoss versus Protoss where one guy is playing pink and the other guy is playing he's playing purple. Well, he's also playing Protoss, but he's playing purple. Pink Stalkers going up against purple Stalkers. The color is almost identical. I mean, maybe it's just my eyes, but it's really hard to differentiate between the two. So maybe there should be some rules for the mirror matchups, but I kind of like seeing it in a Terran versus Protoss, or like a Zerg versus Protoss, or a Protoss versus Terran. When we have a different color set. Or at the very least, just let the players pick whatever they like. I don't think it's bad. Anyhow. There's usually also rules as far as the different skins go. So, you do have multiple skin sets in StarCraft 2. And I believe for the official Blizzard tournaments back in the day, we had rules where those could be used. There's especially this classic Terran skin. So you have this classic Terran, this is just going to be me ranting for a moment, but you have this classic Terran skin set that changes the orbital command, the command center, as well as the planetary fortress. And again, this might be a me issue mostly, but every single time I see a planetary fortress with that skin set on the ladder, I always take a... I never know if it's a regular command center that hasn't morphed in yet, or if it's a planetary fortress at first glance. I really have to look at it for a little bit longer than that. Yeah, legibility obviously is very important, but Terran versus Protoss, default skins, I don't think it's all too crazy. Anyhow, we had that very early probe scout in this game from herO. A Hellion eventually ended up killing it. Not the end of the world right here for Maru, but not a particularly great start. That being said, obviously that probe, I think it was probably sent right at the very beginning of the game. So for every second that a worker is not mining in StarCraft 2, you lose roughly like 0.8 minerals or so. So yeah, that probe was out there for like 3.5 minutes. So that's still a lot of potential lost mining time. Not ideal, but at the very least, herO now knows exactly what he's going up against. It's going to be that barracks into a reactor. So at this point in the game, Maru did not go for any scouting whatsoever. He is now sending out a medevac with 7 Marines in it. There's one empty seat. Maybe he got bullied out of it, or maybe he really needed that one SCV at home. Okay, Stalkers are going to move away. Siege Tank is going to push that back. Blink is going to finish up here in just a moment for our Protoss player, though, so Maru needs to be very careful. There's only a handful of gateways available at this point, but those Stalkers, they can be microed for quite a while. Okay, perfect timing right there. He didn't see the Twilight Council, but Maru definitely knows the timing at which Blink completes. Now, right now, these Stalkers are in a bit of an awkward spot. Okay. Decides to blink over the army. Had to make a bit of a decision there. You don't want to lose him, especially if the prism coming in, right? That, could be a bit of a problem. Anyhow, Maru decided to siege up right over here. So I think he's expecting units to come down. Okay, Liberator get accidentally spotted as well by the Prism because apparently herO was trying to set up a surround. Stalker's going into the main base to try and intercept that. At the same time, though, we have that Terran army moving forward. Couple of the Stalkers in the back, too. Okay, this is about to get really feisty. I think that the Liberator will probably be cleaned up quite quickly. At the same time, though, aggressive blink forward there from herO. He snipes that siege tank. That is quite important, but it did come at the cost of a few of his Stalkers. Looks like the Liberator in the main base has been cleared out. The Stalkers are now, well, idling on the job for just a moment. Good control here. Nice pickup micro as well on the Prism for a bit. So there we go. In the end, not a great exchange right there from Maru whatsoever. So the problem with Stargazers... So normally you can go for a push like that and lose your first siege tank, but the problem on Stargazers is that you don't just have to worry about, well, this section right over here. You don't just have to worry about a blink up into the main base. There's also your backdoor. Yeah, and herO is doing that brilliantly. I think going through this area over here is a great idea. Now suddenly, you have a massive group of Stalkers inside of your main base. The R2 siege tanks available on the high... Okay, make that one on the high ground. Medevac ended up going down too. Honestly, herO playing a stellar game here. Yeah, herO is lethal when it comes to his Stalkers. Like, for some reason, whenever I see him playing Stalkers, it seems like his units start with, like, 1-1 upgrades or something. Believe it or not, these guys also start with 12 workers and no upgrades or anything like that. An unsiege right there for Maru. Ended up losing another tank. Brilliant pickup micro there once again by herO. Saving all of those units. There's a Raven just about to pop. Not entirely sure what use that's going to be over here. And honestly, that may be all she wrote for game number 1. herO demolishing Maru here, actually. That is uncharacteristic. That is so many Stalkers. There's another aggressive blink forward. Okay. Bit of a misfire. The Raven at least stays alive for a bit longer, but... Yeah, in the meantime, herO is expanding towards a third Nexus as well. It's not like he's just sitting around on mass Stalker. He's making a transition. He's going into additional production. He doesn't have to win the game right here, right now, but he's going to try. Raven gets picked off. Oh, man. I love the pickup control there. Yeah, when you think about it, the Prism can give any unit blink. But a unit that already has blink can also be given even more blink. We have blinkception going on. There's another aggressive blink forward. Okay, Stalkers are kind of derping over here, but I do believe that that tank is also going to go down. Marines in the meantime, though, did gun down the Prism. And that may have actually been an overextension there from our Protoss. I don't think there's a whole lot that our Terran can really do to go for a counterattack. But at the very least, herO is going to be deflected for now. Problem is, during all of this... Yeah, economical advantage heavily in favor right here of herO. At least the SCVs can go now, they can get now back to mining, I suppose, so that's something. But there's already an Immortal out, new Prism is available too. I think that herO is probably going to continuously give up the, or, you know, not give up. He's going to continuously go on with the aggression. Maru scans the third base, he sees that it's fully saturated, and that's when your heart sinks, right? You kind of hope. Okay, maybe that was a 2-base all-in for some reason from our Protoss, but yeah, not the case. So usually after the third Nexus gets saturated, that's when Protoss really ups their production. So you can see 4 additional gateways right now on the production tab. herO is going to continuously lay down the law in this game. He needs to be a little bit cautious though. Yeah, charge at this point is completed. Tanks are currently on siege, so you do... Okay, he's going to actually try and drop the Immortal, I think, on top of the siege tanks. Anyways, yeah, trying to target fire that down. Is there enough firepower right now for herO to just break through this? Nice couple of force fields over there, too. Immortal is going to finish the job, and I do believe that in the end, there is a little bit too much Protoss. GG is called. Game number 1 goes in favor of herO. Okay, I'm just loading into the second game on Inside and Out. But I can't help but notice that Maru right there has a Diamond League portrait. That would be the scariest thing. You're just playing your casual Diamond League ladder game and you face off against Maru. That would be something. I decided to fast forward through the first couple minutes of this game just so we can get to the action a little bit quicker. Maru has opted to go for a double refinery opener, and with that, a delayed command center. So that does mean he's going to be able to get his factory out, yeah, pretty quickly here. So maybe he can use that to put some pressure on herO, although obviously when you go for this low ground wall off, things are usually pretty good for the Protoss player, assuming he actually makes enough stuff. A Zealot decided to move through the left side of the map, and I think normally it would arrive, yeah, on the side of the Terran player right around the time that the Reaper would get on the side of the Protoss. So then the, you know, Reaper would have to go all the way back home. But in this particular case, we do have a double Reaper opener. This is something that, okay, herO sees and he instantly recalls. That recall is actually going to be quite nice, because I think he needs every unit that he can get. Hellion is going across right now together with the Reapers. Bit of an awkward hit squad, but... Yo, you guys gotta make yourself look wide, okay? You gotta, like, use your elbows. Do Stalkers have elbows? I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, so they're not wide enough. They needed to hit the gym. Either way, Hellion already softened up quite a bit. It gets to apparently overthink its sins for a little bit before that Stalker wakes up once again. Both players busy microing in the main base. Okay, 3 probes ended up going down right there at the exchange of... two Reapers and a Hellion. Honestly, not an amazing start right there for Maru. Keep in mind, he delayed his command center, right? To try and pull off these sneaky little moves. Maybe the medevac drop here that's going to come up in a moment can be a little bit more successful. But obviously, if herO has a chance to go into Blink, he's going to go into Blink. He's going to go into, well, a little bit of aggression. And already, the man has set his rally points towards the other side of the map. I like watching herO play so much. It's so fun. He's so aggressive, right? I honestly think it's the way to play Terran. Or, sorry, it's the way to play Protoss. Okay. Zachary the Zealot got sacrificed. I'm not entirely sure if I agree with that. Maybe if you can get the Widowmine, it'd be worth it. Anyway, herO once again sees this. So, he's aggressive, but I think he's also been overly aggressive in the past, and it's definitely, yeah, been a problem in some of his games, right? But I think he's learned from it, right? So at this point, he knows how aggressive he can really be, and when he needs to retreat. So it's very easy to sacrifice accidentally another Stalker when you're trying to snipe the very first Widowmine, because the second Widowmine burrowed right next to it. herO, though, sacrificed the Zealot and decided to give up on the aggression, but since he was on the other side of the map, he decided to split his Stalkers for just a moment, and he saw that medevac moving out. Now, a little bit of a mind game there for Maru, though, moving through the right side and then to the left side of the map. Already, herO is spread out around his bases. Look at that. He is ready to intercept the medevac that's going to come in from any angle, so I don't believe that this is really going to do any damage. Yeah, nicely done. Very nicely done. Clean defense. It happens so much, even at the professional level, that we see like an entire mineral line of probes blow up to like a 3 Widowmine drop. Or 2 Widowmine, or even 1 Widowmine. Like, it deals a lot of damage usually. But just, yeah, making sure that you don't lose your workers. I mean, quote-unquote just. Incredibly helpful, of course. Alright. herO's like, looks like the medevac's gone, so... it's about time I load up my Prism once again with as many units as I can. So 4 Stalkers. Currently found a private plane towards the other side of the map. Templar Archives is a follow-up this time around. Once again with Immortals, and then also the Zealots with Charge. There's the 3rd Nexus. But first off, we're going to see herO get a little bit aggressive once again. Maru's like, yo, just let me macro, bro. Look, I know we were just playing when I sent my medevac with the mines out and all that. I know we were just playing. Never mind. Coming in regardless. Okay. Nice feedbacks, though. Really softening up. Okay. That medevac quite a bit. How many workers will go down? He's got to be so careful. Look at that retargeting here from Maru. I love that. So Maru trying to... Great split as well. Maru trying to buy as much time as he can. So what you can do if you have the Widowmine selected is constantly retarget one of the probes. So if you keep right-clicking one of the probes and then, you know, you retarget to another one, the Widowmine will constantly recharge his attack. So if you do that enough times, you can actually keep the Widowmine and the Protoss player occupied for much longer than it normally would. Small little move. In the end, though, only a single worker ended up going down to that second mine. And I don't think I really like this position for Terran all too much once again, especially if he ends up losing another medevac of units. Oh my god. Ooh, almost ended up losing the Raven as well. At the very least, a few of the Stalkers ended up going down. So that's something, but herO certainly in the driver's seat of this series. That being said, Maru is at a very nice amount of supply. This is right before the Protoss usually gets really to that, like, supply explosion. So this is a dicey position in the game, but herO does have Storm. Storm is going to be done before this battle. That's going to be incredibly helpful. 3 High Templar. One of them is inside of the prism. Okay. 1 probe over there, sacrificing itself. Actually, maybe herO is in the wrong position right now. He needs to be so careful. Beautiful Storm, though. Ay, ay, ay. Archon, okay, does get picked off, so that's something. Zealot, at the very least, got saved at 1 health remaining. Careful, though. I think he sees that the... Yeah. He sees that the siege tanks here are sieged up in the middle of the map. And now all that herO really needs to do is just buy as much time as he can. He's got a nice economy. 3rd CC is only about halfway done at this point. He needs to control his side of the map. Zealots have charge. Is he really gonna send those for the counterattack right now? That could actually be a mistake. So he just separated, like, I don't know, 1/3 of his army supply to try and go in. Once again, great storms though, my god. Storms do a lot of damage. Yeah, Zealots actually trying to close the distance on top of the tanks. One of the tanks took a lot of damage, but... Okay, I think they might actually get both picked off eventually. Okay, he doesn't want to get hit by the Widow Mines. He would have lost the entire clump of units. Okay, deflection successful. We're now talking full 3-base Protoss, other than maybe the gases, going up against Terran. So that was a dicey defense, but I don't think there's really a whole lot that our Protoss can do, right? Maybe he can do like a Zealot Warp in the main base. Fair enough. But this is a really nicely turtled up position. I don't think he's really going to be able to achieve too much. He wants to try. But he's going to be backing off once again. Okay. So. I think both players are indeed reading this game correctly. herO making the transition towards the double forge. And in the meantime, on the other side of the map, we have Maru making that ghost transition as well. Second Robo facility coming up. Robo Bay also available very soon. So you can go into both Disruptors as well as Colossi, Observer Speed, Prism Speed, all the shebang. They're all great. But sometimes we see Protoss players investing into a lot of tech and then, well, the game doesn't go long enough. Or it doesn't go on for long enough. And they don't really get any value out of that. 4th Nexus coming up as well. herO is such a greedy boy in a lot of these games. Like, the man just defended by the skin of his teeth that aggression by the Terran, and he's like, okay, double upgrades, 2nd facility, Robo Bay, 4th base, probes only, let's go. I wonder if it's a little much, because right now we're talking 102 supply in the army here from Maru versus 71 from herO. I mean, he is going to have Disruptors, so that's nice. Disruptors can obviously kill like 50 supply worth if you're not careful, but we're still talking about Maru here. Maru is very good when it comes to microing against those units, but Maru also tends to be more of a macro Terran, so there's always a chance that he's going to sit back, and obviously if you give Protoss enough time here, he is going to feel pretty good about himself. Okay. Maru at this point sees the Protoss army. herO at this point sees the Terran army as well. His army looks so tiny though. Ugh. But I guess it's not the size of the army that really matters when you play Protoss, it's how you use it. So maybe he's actually coming in from the side. Nice EMP right there, though, by the Terran player. These Immortals, okay, not really achieving too much. There's the first Disruptor Ball, getting one of the Marauders, but that's really not that great. Decent Storm, but nothing amazing. Battery Overcharge already used. Ooh, Prism gets sniped with the Templar inside of it, too. Okay, this is looking pretty sweet right now for Maru. Although he's got to be careful. He doesn't have a lot of Medivacs in this mix. A lot of Stimpak has already been used to try and stay ahead of those Disruptors. So he wants to fight, right? Oh, herO actually goes? Okay, I'm a little bit surprised by that move. I think he really wants to break this position before Terran can really establish himself there, but a lot of Widow Mines still available. Siege Tank in the back continuously shelling away at this army. Does he have an Observer? He's got 2 Observers, but they're not in this army, so he can't actually see the Widow Mines very easily. Okay, he's just trying to blink at the perfect moment. Fair enough. Whew. These guys are so good, man. I'm sure you've all experienced it in your own games of StarCraft when you try to control an army like this, and either you blow up your own army with the Disruptors, or you just go too aggressive with the Marines and the Marauders, or you could see Maru patiently waiting there with like a full, what you call it, like a concave, right, of units, sitting there, waiting for the Protoss to engage. A literal minefield, and somehow, some way, when herO engaged, it still went his own way, but Got a feeling if you do that 9 times out of 10, it's gotta go in favor of the Terran. Anyways, now we've got some split up units. That one should get destroyed. Nicely done. Another Disruptor Purification Nova, though, coming in from the side. Huge Terran army, though, did decide to go all the way back home, and herO may very well have the positional advantage right now. I was thinking maybe he could try and surround this Terran army, but he decides to back off. He doesn't know where that secondary force of the Terran player went. Yeah, so he's making the assessment that there's a chance that it's on its way towards his 4th. Double Prism coming up. Sure, let's make the micro even more difficult. Wouldn't be surprised if herO during this battle puts down another Nexus. He's thinking about it anyways. Okay. So game number 1 was a little bit unfortunate for Maru. Game number 2 is showing us what he's worth. You can see that these guys are incredibly evenly matched. Terran army, though, running through the center of the map, and they're gonna go towards the high ground. He had a scan over there, so he saw that there really wasn't anything waiting for him on that high ground. Recall is gonna be utilized on some of the Protoss units too. What exactly is gonna show up? You gotta be careful. You might need to get out of there, dude! My god, those disruptors! Okay, that was a little bit preemptive right there, herO. Maybe I shouldn't be shaming him for it. It happens to the best of us, but, yeah, herO probably could have caught the entire Terran ball, and he got a bit too excited. I'm just gonna leave that there. Anyways, I think he could have had the whole army. There really wasn't a way for the Terran to get out of there. He could have tried to pick up, but I think the Stalkers would have blinked underneath. Wait, are we gonna go 4? Oh no, I guess he ended up losing one of his robo facilities. I was gonna say, are we gonna go 4 robo facilities? That seems a bit extreme. We're gonna go into 3 instead. So herO not done bowling just yet. Oh my god, we're gonna go through this choke point? Really? Ugh. Never really like seeing that, man. herO takes engagements that I feel like are never gonna go particularly well, but somehow he makes it work. I really feel like if you would try that in your own games, no. Like pushing through a choke like that, fighting into a concave over there. It's very dangerous. But I guess he looks at the army, he's like, you know what? Yeah, I can take that. Good connections once again, though, with those disruptors, taking out the Widow Mines continuously. We've had 28 Widow Mines going down in this game. That's insane, actually. Every time you see a Purification Nova, it kills something. Or at least most times it kills something. Don't think this is gonna happen, though. Yeah, no, that was a little bit overly ambitious. But Maru now finds himself at a 45 supply deficit. Triple Colossus transition, let's go. He didn't get the extended thermal lens yet, so we'd love to see that. He's probably got a queued, no, he doesn't have a queued up in the Robo Bay. Anyway. Dealing some damage, sniping some ghosts. Colossi without extended thermal lens, though, not so great. I mean, they're still good, but they're not at the same level as the Colossi with the extended thermal lens. It's one of those upgrades that you can easily forget. Right now, though, Maru is going to chokehold on his base. Okay, this is good. Getting that 4th base sniped, super nice. Disruptor also got popped, but I think that the Terran is going to be able to, yeah, get on out of there. Good EMPs. All right. There was a new Nexus acquired in the bottom right. Maru does have to address the main Protoss army over here. Because if it marches straight towards the natural, I think he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Alternatively, Maru could go for the full counterattack. And it seems to be what he is opting for right now. Yeah, Protoss mostly just chasing down this Terran army. So despite the fact that Maru is 40 supply behind, he is playing the Protoss force here like a fiddle. Love to see that. There was a recall used just now. Okay, Terran army is going to be met with the Protoss force and the natural of the Protoss. Base in the bottom right, though, I think it's toast, right? He sees this right now. He scans it. Maybe not. No, maybe not. He's got to be very careful that he doesn't actually overstay his welcome. I thought that this Protoss army was going to try and chase the other army. Now he may actually be in a bit of a troubling spot. Yeah, those medevacs. Oh my god, they're not going to be able to go. They're not going to be able to get out of there very easily. Another Nexus, though, was cancelled on the left side of the map. Disruptor is going to retaliate by murder. Or with murder, I guess. Oh my god, alright. I don't know if there's anyone inside of those Widow Mines. I don't think so, right? Pretty sure the Widow Mine operator is... I don't know. It's elsewhere. I don't know where it is. Maybe in the factory or something. There's a guy holding a joystick controlling the Widow Mine. Anyways. Okay. I'm impressed that Maru is still making the best out of this situation, to be honest. Like, he's been behind in the army supply for a long time. And he somehow still seems to be controlling the pacing of the game. A command center, though, just got sniped, and that makes this game a whole lot harder here for Maru. Oh, Purification Nova just barely got cancelled. Good targeting right there from our Terran player. He forces the cancel on another Nexus. Okay. We're gonna have to fight, right? We're gonna have to fight. That is so many bowling balls. Okay. Do we have Blink available again? In a couple seconds we do. I think that may have just put the nail in the coffin. There is a little drop in the bottom right-hand corner too, but a lot of additional Stalkers get warped in. They're going to be able to snipe the medevac and the rest of those units. GG is called. Game number 2 goes in favor of herO. Alright. Our third map for today is Data C. Maru once again opting to go for a quick factory, so a double gas opener. That does mean that the command center on the low ground is going to be a little bit delayed. Whereas herO right now is approaching, okay, 150 gas. He decides to go for the Stargate opener. So rather than going straight into a Twilight Council, he'll probably still make a Twilight Council later on, but he decides to go straight into a Stargate. This is something that Maru can scout right now, although he didn't actually move far enough, so he didn't actually see the tech structure. Interesting. Instead, he wants to go and check out the top of the natural ramp, but an Adept is pushing him back over there as well. So Maru apparently not too... Yeah, not too worried about the early game, right? So in the previous 2 games, I don't think it was really the early game that cost him. I mean, in the first game, maybe that was an issue, but it wasn't necessarily the build order that was the problem. It was the follow-up that, yeah, came after that. So apparently, he doesn't really need to scout exactly what he's going up against. He feels comfortable against whatever it is that the Protoss player wants to throw for him, or throw at him. Now, rather than going for an Oracle, which is what I assumed herO would be going for here, he decides to go straight into a Phoenix. As you guys probably know. I'm a big fan of Phoenix openers. I think they're a lot of fun. Most of the time, Phoenix openers are followed up with Colossi. And you can go straight into Colossi because the Phoenixes buy you so much time. So what you want to do is make a group of Phoenixes, harass the opponent on the other side of the map, make it difficult for the Terran player to move out, and then in the meantime, you can buy yourself a lot of time to go straight into the Colossi. Maru eventually finishes up the CC, but for a while now already, herO has got that nice little advantage, and you can see when the mule lands, right? The mule obviously gives you a nice little boost in economy, but not until 2 mules are available can Maru really properly match this, and I think by that time, Protoss is already thinking about going for a 3rd Nexus. Okay, well, he decided to go for at least 1 more gateway first. Yeah, maybe a 3rd Nexus off of 1 gate is a little bit much. So how many Phoenixes are we gonna make before we make a move out? Oh, interesting. Okay. herO instead decides to go into the Twilight Council. So, rather than making the transition towards Colossi, he'll probably go straight into Blink. Sorry, not into Blink. He'll probably go straight into Charge. I mean, Blink is always an option too. It's herO after all. He loves Blink. But I believe if you go for, a Phoenix opener, you have to go into Charge now as a follow-up, because otherwise you're going to be in a little bit of trouble against those basic Marine Marauder base pushes. Speaking of which, I believe that's coming up right here from our Terran player in a moment. He'll probably start up the combat shield research here in a second too. So that'll allow him to finish up combat shields, Stimpaks, and +1 infantry weapons here. Right around the same time, those upgrades are now lined up to finish up within about, well, 5 seconds of one another. Super nice. You reach a massive power spike. Anyways, this is the first time that the Phoenixes show up, and rather than lifting up the SCVs individually, herO decided to lift up like 5 of them at once. So there wasn't actually that much DPS in that Phoenix army. Anyhow, yeah, that's a little bit better. 7 workers for now. All Phoenixes stay alive. And this is normally where you buy yourself enough time to go straight into that army that I was talking about with the Colossi, but instead he decides to go for Charge. So 4 gateways going down here. We've also got a couple of High Templar. So maybe he's gonna, yeah, morph those into Archons. Not a bad idea. Come on, guys. You're meant to be together. Come on. No? Okay. No, he's actually got to go into Storm. Interesting. Maybe they had a little bit of a falling out. I understand. It happens. Maybe they'll still merge in as one later today. So we've got a bunch of High Templar. We're going to have a lot of charge slots. And apparently he's done with producing Phoenixes. So this is that scary moment, right? So Terran is finishing up all of those upgrades. He's got a very large looking army here. Apparently right now he's saying, okay, you can harass my mineral line if you want to. You can lift up more SCVs, but that doesn't mean you don't have enough energy to actually help out at home. Maybe lift up the Widow Mines or something along those lines. Storms are going to have to be on point though. Yeah, so he now scans. He sees what he's going up against. A literal minefield once again. Okay. Pretty good storm. Marines walking back into the storm. Fair enough. Losing the Cyber Core would kind of suck, but not a huge deal. So obviously in order to go for adepts and... Whoa, look at those curved bullets. How does that work? Amazing. Anyways, obviously if you want to go for Stalkers, you do need to have a Cyber Core out. Same goes for adepts and all that, but at this point he can still make the High Templar. He can still make the Zealots. He'll be fine. I think herO probably wants to, yeah, make quite a few of those units. Okay, Sentry. Ooh, does not get killed because the shield battery kept it alive for a little bit. So Maru is telling his opponent, yo, come out and play. Hello, don't worry about it. There's definitely no Widow Mines underground. So herO doesn't want to come out and play. He decides to, yeah, just lose a few units. But this is once again buying a lot of time. So as we've already talked about, economical advantage here. Very nice for herO. In the meantime, he is doing a warp in on the other side of the map, and he also proxied a gateway. So herO is saying, yo, this is taking too long. If you don't want to commit to a fight, that works just fine for me. I'll go ahead and, yeah, try and deal some damage on the other side of the map instead. I don't think you're going to win the series like this, Maru. You need to step it up, my man. We need to go full throttle, and we need to commit a little bit more aggressively, I believe, because otherwise it's just not going to happen. Or we can get a couple Zealots sacrificed. That's always nice. Yeah, no, that was not ideal. Probe, though, still available. It decided to put up a secondary proxy in the bottom right, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be a gateway building right next to that one in a moment. You do have to be careful, though, if you're Maru here, that you don't overstay your welcome, right? At some point... Okay, I was going to say, there's going to be a very large Protoss force. Stalkers can now also outrange those units. Good storm once again. Yep. So I think that Terran did overstay their welcome a little bit. Nothing too crazy, but probably wanted to leave just a couple seconds earlier. Anyhow, Maru has been macroing up here for a while. Now that he's got the 3rd CC up and running, that economical advantage here for Protoss is going to be, yeah, a little bit less. Obviously, mules are still amazing. And there's really not... Oh my god, huge EMP. There's really not that much available here for our Protoss player to defend with. Yeah, that EMP may have actually just been... Oh, okay, that may have actually just been the end of the game, actually. Or at the very least, the beginning of the end of this game. So, you really need... okay. Early battery overcharge that, too. You don't like seeing that. Well, maybe you do if you're a Terran player. Anyhow... losing the High Templar there, or at the very least, taking them out of the equation of this game, it, yeah, makes it very difficult to hold on to that 4th base. Now we're talking 3 bases versus 3 bases. Now the Zealots are charging in as well. That's exactly what Maru wanted to have happen earlier on. I think herO is starting to fall apart here. Hard to see exactly what's happening in that battle, but Maru just has way too much. And he does get a point on the board. Alright. Next up, Moon Dance. Maru has once again opted to go for a double gas approach. So you know what that means. It's a quicker factory, but a later command center on the low ground. Fair enough. It will allow him to put some pressure on the opponent here in just a moment. herO has been continuously scouting all corners of the map in this series. I don't really know exactly what Maru has done, but herO's hurt. Something took place between these two that made herO just scout around all the nooks and crannies. Anyways, Maru hasn't really done any spiciness in this series yet, but herO is not forgotten, okay? herO does not forget. It's gonna be a triple... Yeah, it's gonna be a triple Reaper opener, probably double Hellion here. This is always a bit of a Terran versus Terran sort of start. herO, though, still chrono boosting out more and more Stalkers, so he's already got 2 out. That's gonna be a third one. Twilight Council will be available in just a moment. And he's gonna need those units as well. Can be kind of easy to sit around on just like 2 Stalkers or like 1 Adept and a Stalker, but he's gonna have enough units. He's even gonna go for a 4th one, so he wants to put on the pressure too. This is gonna be 2 players going at each other's throats to start things off. Okay. Here we go. We are gonna commit. Didn't he have 3 Reapers? Oh yeah, he did. Okay. Recall is gonna be used! Okay. At least all of the units will stay alive. Albeit with quite a bit of base damage there on one of those Stalkers. No pile on the low ground actually for herO. So no shield battery, no wall off or anything along those lines. It's gonna make this defense a little bit harder. He did once again go for the Twilight Council, so Blink has started up. Looks like we're just dancing around each other for the time being. Okay, maybe Maru can sneak around the site. I like that. Grenades. Yep, there we go. Grenades pushing this army around. Yeah. I mean, I said I like that, but... take it back. 3 probes. At the exchange of 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions. Not quite ideal. I think the other probe that ended up going down a little bit earlier is probably the scouting worker. Anyways, herO looks at that. He's thinking, okay, what do I do? Well, first off, I'm going to make another Nexus, and then I'll set my rally point to watch the other side of the map, and I'll just start harassing, right? I mean, he doesn't have Blink done yet. I think it's probably a good idea as well to keep those units at home for a little bit longer, because there is indeed a Banshee as a follow-up. herO... Ooh. He started up an Observer temporarily there, and then he decided to cancel and go for the Prism first. This might be a little bit awkward, because the Banshee cloaking field here is finishing up in just a couple seconds. And if your Stalkers are on the other side of the map together with a Prism, and you don't have an Observer out at home, find yourself in a bit of a spicy spot. He needs to start up an Observer pretty much right away here. Okay, he doesn't. Nope, goes for an Immortal as well. Now Maru shows up. So this is the first time that Protoss sees the amount of units that are available. He sees the cloak. Oh, I think it could go deeper. Okay, so Maru here respecting his opponent a lot. He could have definitely dived on top of all of those probes. He didn't see the Prism yet, so he didn't know exactly what he was going up against. Anyways, he's still going to keep this alive and probably kill some more workers. Yep, not bad. Engaging where hopefully the shield battery can't reach. Another one over here in the natural, trying to be annoying. 5 probes have gone down. Yeah. Kinda cool, I guess. Nothing too crazy, though. Siege tank already sieged up in the back right there. Stalker's coming right in. Blink at this point is done, and we obviously have that double blink available in that War Prism. I mean, it's not really a double blink, I suppose, but at the very least he can micro. Quite a bit more than just the Blink Stalkers. Okay. Looks like we're setting ourselves up for a nice little macro game, though. So, Moondance has this nice pocket base in the corners. Protoss has opted to keep that one in the back of his bases for now, not mining those, but Maru has grabbed himself a very nice and early 3rd command center. There's only a couple mineral fields over here, so it's 6 mineral fields rather than the conventional 8. Single gas as well, rather than the conventional 2, so you don't get quite as much income. But gas, not really that important. You can still support a healthy economy. So once again, after Blink, we're going into Storm, we're going into charge slots. herO is going for the conventional transitions here. I think we're probably going to see some passivity here for the next couple minutes. Maru doing what he loves doing, right? So Maru has really... He's had multiple faces in his play styles, right? Over the years, he's played a variety of games. And recently, he really likes the more passive approach. We've seen Maru get incredibly aggressive in the past as well, but... Yeah, a little bit of harassment here and there. Maybe a bit of an aggressive opener with a bunch of Reapers and some Hellions. But ultimately, if he can, he likes to build up a big army first, and then he will finally commit towards the other side of the map. And on Moondance, it's going to be very difficult for herO to get a proper engagement in before Terran really goes out. And, you know, if Terran's sitting here in the main base, look at this. There's a bunch of siege tanks. Yeah, he's trying to get in. He's trying to harass, but it's just not really doable. So his best bet right now is just continuously expand, try and build up that economy. I wouldn't mind seeing herO go into a very healthy amount of probes in this game. We've seen that in the past with Protoss players going up to like 90 plus. I think that's, yeah, not a bad idea. Obviously, that might be a bit extreme if you go there straight away, but... Okay. Okay. He just barely did not click it far away enough, so he doesn't know about the corner base at this point. I'd be a little bit concerned if I was going up against herO right now that he would be playing very, very greenly. Anyhow, Maru has got a bunch of upgrades done. He might be venturing out into the map again, but... Yeah, decides to back off. I mean, do you really want to fight without all your siege tanks? Instead, he decides to go for a 4th command center. Pretty quick one. Double Colossus coming up. Extended thermal lens being researched in this game as well. Hey, uncharacteristically, all the observers here for the Protoss are at home. So herO kind of relying, I guess, on the units that he's got here. Yeah, to keep tabs of what the Terran player is doing, but... Okay, I was gonna say, normally he's spreading those units around, and now he does. So he's going around the map, making sure that he sees what's happening. Maru is scanning ahead as well, just to see whether or not there's a large Protoss army in the middle of the map waiting for him. That scan was actually perfect to see behind all of the tall grasses and the side blockers and all that. Okay. So herO already planting down double Stargate. That is rather early. So he's going for 1 Colossus and 1 Disruptor right now. He's starting up the harassment. The front door of the Terran player was open. Doesn't really matter all too much. Straight into a fleet beacon and a 3rd Stargate as well. Okay. So I think herO is looking at this game, just like we are looking at this game right now, and he's assessed that Terran is likely gonna sit there and then sit. Is what Maru likes to do quite a bit. And I think he's making a guess right now. He's taking a bit of a gamble, and he's thinking, okay, there's a good chance that our Terran friend here will not be moving out anytime soon. So I should have enough time to, yeah, make this transition happen. So he's going from a Twilight Council-based army, from a ground-based army into an air-based army. But that transition is very expensive, and it takes a long time. So he really does need the Terran player to sit back for the foreseeable future. Now, Disruptors are obviously really good at buying time. The same can be said for Storm and High Grounds that we have on this map. But, yeah, I think he's reading it perfectly, though. Maru, despite the fact that he's got a nice supply lead, continuously expanding. Taking all of the bases on his side. Okay, so this is seemingly a heavy macro game right now. It's going to be Oracles together with Tempests. So 3 of those are being chronoed out. Pretty good. We've got ourselves the upgrade here as well to the structures. What's it called again? Is it Tectonic Destabilize? Oh my god, I need to Google this. Sorry. Give me a sec. These guys are just tiptoeing around each other anyways. Tempest Liquipedia. No, not the Dota hero or the Dota team. I don't know. Oh, Tectonic Destabilizers. Hell yeah. Good job, brain. So that's what that upgrade is called. The official description is that it improves the Tempest Resonance Coil to deal plus 40 damage versus structures. Yeah, fun fact. Every single... Ooh. Well, hold that thought here for just a moment. As Protoss is trying to set up shop over here on this high ground. He's trying to build a lot of static defense. At this point, okay, Maru finally sees the Tempest. Every single attack in StarCraft 2, so every single unit has a different name for their attacks. While I do know the upgrade names for most things in the game, I do not know... Well, okay, what's the siege tank, for example, called? Can I find this? Is this even on Wikipedia? It probably says it somewhere. I'm not exactly sure. Anyways, if you hover over it while you're playing a multiplayer game, for example, it will tell you the exact name of the regular attacks. And apparently it's a resonance coil for the Tempest. I would have never known that, okay? Been playing this game for a long time. The resonance coil was not in my vocabulary. Maybe we need to learn one of those names for every single cast. By the end of the year, I can do a test, okay? It'll be one of those really rough, unexpected tests. They do those over here in high school. Oh, it's the worst. I hated that so much when, you know, you didn't do your homework because you played too much RuneScape, and then they suddenly gave you an unexpected test. Remember those days? Just me? Okay. Anyways. My entire life in high school was min-maxing RuneScape. I'd be at school a long time, okay, but I'd play even more RuneScape. Tell you that much. The original grind. Okay, so good EMP over there. Ghost ended up going down as well, even though it just said, never say die. It literally did. Okay, anti-armor missile as well, so making it a little tricky here for the Protoss player to engage, but Terran doesn't have that much to actually deal with this army right now. One of the issues that Maru is running into is that he's maxed. He's a 200 supply. He would like to build more units that are good against Tempests, but he can't because he's maxed. Liberator's going on the other side of the map. We've got... Okay, now we have a proper game, guys. I mean, the previous games that we've had in this series were good as well, but I think now we've got nukes, we've got Tempests, we've got a lot of ghosts, we've got bases taken everywhere. Yeah, and this is what Maru wanted to do. So it's not that herO signed up to play this game, it's that Maru decided to play this sort of match instead, right? So this is what Maru is aiming for, that big macro game. Let's see. Because he's always trying to do this against Zergs. He's very successful with it against Zergs. But usually the top level Zergs, they seem to dismantle it. If you try and play this style against like a herO, for example, he's very good against it. So how exactly does the rank 1 Protoss player fare? Alrighty, a nuke flying across the map. I love it. Very good against that. Oh my god, this is not a very good position for the Protoss at all. Disruptor's coming in, but good snipes right there by Maru. Sniping all of those units very, very easily. Colossus goes down. Second Colossus. Oh, gets sniped very quickly too. That was a disaster of a battle. Sorry, I missed the nuke. Just for the extra splash, okay? This is while this is all happening over here. Forget about that. Ooh, big bada boom. Yeah, that was a massive overextension just now here from herO. Maru looks at that, he's like, okay, great. Building armor. High-sec auto-tracking. Get all the upgrades going. Yeah, Maru does not plan on winning this game. Not just yet, anyways. Oh, these storms are painful, though. Yeah, Maru definitely overstaying his welcome. Another nuke. Another starport. Terran's got money for days. That said, though, I do quite like the economical position here for herO. I mean, it's relatively even here, but he's got a lot of bases. He's got a lot of mineral fields that he can still mine. You should probably send probes on over in those directions, though. I do think in the later stages of the game, it's herO who is on the back foot. Maru really shines in these games. I feel like herO is just, yeah, less comfortable playing that late game. It could be because of the dynamic between Terran and Protoss. So those late game Terran armies are incredibly strong. But still, I've seen Protoss win many times before as well from that position. Pretty good Purification Nova. Disruptor, though, is going to get picked off, it seems. Nexus also gets sniped, so that's good. +3 air weapons already coming up for Terran as well. You know what we need to do, Maru? Not because it's good, but because I want to see it. We need to go for a mass battlecruiser transition. I mean, it's good if you get there. Got a feeling, though, that herO is never going to allow you to get there, but it'd be sick, right? Imagine he starts up like, yeah, I'd be here for it. Instead, though, we're chasing each other. Oh my god, those EMPs are so big. All jokes aside, Maru is doing a fantastic job microing these battles. Those EMPs are lethal, man. People never really talk about EMP. I've got a theory, and I might be wrong. Assuming I have time to discuss it in this game, because suddenly our Terran player is just smelling blood. Going for a nuke right over here as well. Ooh. Okay, that nuke is, yeah, gonna land. No, Disruptor, don't do it! Not bad at all, though. Terran's gonna continue his harass, get another Disruptor. Maru is just going, yeah, straight for the win right now if you can. I mean, he's got a massive army. Look at the mini-map as well. Just rallying unit after unit after unit on over in this direction. Those liberation zones right now making it difficult. Rally point over here also not set properly. Making it difficult for the Terran player to be pushed back. Protoss wants to engage this, but if there's a lot of liberation zones set up, it can be quite tricky. Okay, looks like we have a little bit of time to breathe. So what I was gonna say, I've said this before in previous casts as well, right? But I've seen many players complain about High Templar Psionic Storm in the past. I've seen a lot of players complain about fungal growth, parasitic bomb, and all the rest of it. But not a lot of people complain about EMP. There was another massive EMP on top of all of those High Templar. I think nobody really complains about it. Not because it's not a strong ability, but because it's not a very fancy looking ability. I would almost wager that the Ghost EMP is stronger than the High Templar Storm. Maybe that's not entirely true, but it is one hell of an ability, and nobody really ever complains about it, other than the top level players. But yeah, it doesn't look as fancy. It just doesn't look as good as, for example, those other spells that I just described. But it's so powerful, man. The only reason why those fights are working out so well for Terran is because the High Templar are without energy the entire time. Anyways, nuke does land. It just bought a lot of time, but not enough. Terran is going to be pushed back from this position once again. Alright, so after all the fancy units come out, we're now transitioning back towards a lower tier army. EMP once again, softening up those units. And I think, yeah, that the Disruptor, or sorry, the Tempest will get popped out of the sky as well. We're going back to the lower tier units here as Terran. I mean, not as many Liberators is what that really means. Great movement here, though, from Maru. My god. Yeah, look at the resources lost. Fantastic for him. Still a couple bad Disruptors away, though, from being a disaster here for Terran, so he does not want to stick around here for too long either. Yeah, getting a good bit of work in. Okay. Continuously pushing. So Maru apparently wants to fight. That's kind of interesting. I was talking earlier about how he likes to, yeah, play this game relatively passively, but he wants to fight, but only when he's got like 8 bases up. herO right now with a Stalker Zealot army. I don't see how that's ever gonna work out here. Yeah, when both players are at maxed upgrades, it's gonna be really difficult. My god, a massive sandwich coming up as well. It's gonna be really difficult to actually, yeah, fight this sort of force with Stalkers and Zealots. It just does not work. You need a much beefier army in order to take on the head-on engagement, and this is not it, herO. Okay, good detonation over there. That's a lot of ghosts going down. Couple Marauders as well. Judging by the blood splatter. Zealots over here telling the Stalkers to step aside because they want to get in on the battle. Liberation zones, though, still available. There's a there's a lot of medevacs still up in the air. GG is cold, and that means we're going to game number 5. All right, here we go. Our final match for today, the rubber match. Just a couple of maps ago, it was Maru 2-0 behind, and now Maru has managed to even up the score. Very impressive. Not easy to do whatsoever, but Maru, yeah, he does what Maru does best. He keeps his head cool, and he always seems to be in control, no matter what's really going on in a game. It's super easy to Like, I've seen a lot of tournaments with, like, player cameras. It's very easy to lose your cool, but for some reason, even when Maru is, like, 2-0 behind, if you look at his player cam, he always got this look on his face where he's like, yep, I meant to do that. I actually, like, you may think that it's bad for me to lose 2 maps, but I actually meant to do that. I'm, you know, still in control of this series. And he's always got this, like, yeah, controlled vibe around him whenever he's playing a game of StarCraft. I mean, he does get a little bit emotional, I suppose, but I don't think herO is enjoying this series as much anymore at this point as he was a couple maps ago. Momentum is a very real thing in a series of StarCraft 2. I would, at this point, much rather be in Maru's shoes than in herO's. Anyways. Maru just now scouted exactly what he's going up against. It's gonna be that Twilight Council. Blink is coming up here for our Protoss player. This is, of course, herO's bread and butter. Should be, yeah, comfortable playing that style. We are, by the way, on Tropical Sacrifice. Tropical Sacrifice is another one of those maps that can definitely turn into a big macro map. There's a lot of good siege tank spots and a lot of great locations where you can defend your bases, so I can imagine if Maru wants this game to go the distance. Yeah, this is the map where he could try and pull that off, just like the previous one. Okay, Zachary the Zealots, rather, once again got sacrificed. Nice little pickup there. Don't think that the Protoss player saw that, but he's gonna be marching back home. Okay, the Zealot got sacrificed to try and trade itself out for a Widow Mine. Maru, though, put the Widow Mine in a plane. He's gonna send it towards the other side of the map. Raven opener here for Maru, so no Cloak Banshee or anything along those lines this time around. Fair enough. Let's see. Looks like we're good. Yeah. Losing a Stalker right there against one bruised Widow Mine. Not the best trade for Protoss, that's for sure. Especially if you're going up against herO, I think you'd rather trade out those Stalkers as quickly as possible. Maru right now, making a beeline all the way back home. Second siege tank coming up right now. We'll probably opt to go for a third command center here in just a moment. Although he did go for a second, or actually a third barracks first. So he'll probably go into the combat shields here relatively soon as well. Templar Archives coming up. It's a delayed third Nexus here for herO compared to the previous games. I think he probably wants to blink towards the high ground, but he needs to wait until he gets high ground vision. So this time around, it was a observer. Ooh, I think it was spotted just now by Maru too. It was an observer before the prism. That's probably because of the previous game. Okay, observer gets it out of there, but herO, yeah, not going to be able to achieve too much. For the time being, anyways. Ooh, 2 additional gateways even go down right now too. Okay, so it's really a commitment towards damage here. So herO wants this game to end sooner rather than later, because that third Nexus is, yeah, more than a minute later than we saw it in the previous games. Single little Widow Mine drop. Stalkers in the meantime trying to create a distraction as well. No response! Only 3 workers actually. Oh, if only you would have put a second Widow Mine in there, Maru. That's what he's thinking right now too, man. Oh, I should have made another Widow Mine. It would have been fantastic. I mean, he had another Widow Mine, I guess. But couple of SCVs also got picked off inside of the main base. Maru gonna send more medevacs of units towards the other side. In the meantime, we do have the Sonic Storm once again coming up. 2 of the High Templar are inside of the Warp Prism. So, herO, yeah, I think he wants to pile on the pressure here with some storm drops as well, but he's got to be very careful. There's a missile turret right over here. Don't want to fly it too far for it. Okay, this is the first time that Maru sees this. Does he have a response? He does not have a response. And that is a lot of dead SCVs. In the meantime, though, the Raven, together with the 2 medevacs, it's now shown up on the other side of the map. And this is definitely something that could hurt, because there's really not a whole lot available right now for the Protoss player to defend with at home. There was apparently a Widow Mine drop in the natural expansion too. 11 probes have already gone down. High Templar merging together into one as an Archon. Okay, they're gonna, at the very least, provide some tanking here as well. This Widow Mine needs to be cleared out. It needs to be cleared out, dude. It needs to be cleared out! It's gonna fire again in just a couple seconds. That was close. In the meantime, though, Terran Army has moved on over towards that Nexus down south. And you know what? I didn't look at the supply count there for a little bit. But all of these trades have been going really well for Maru. Despite the storm drop. I've got a feeling he's actually winning this series right now. So after being 2-0 behind, it's Maru who obtains the victory over herO 3-2.